गुड मॉर्निंग अन्वेश।
वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
देखिए, रूल 14A जो हमने डिस्कस किया था और विड्रॉल वाला भी डिस्कस किया था हमने, तो हमने एक इलस्ट्रेशन बनाया हुआ है और इस इलस्ट्रेशन को मैं बता देता हूं, फिर अन्वेश टेक ओवर करेगा। इसको बताने से पहले 14A में हम लोग ये मान के चल रहे हैं कि B2B सप्लाई कैन नॉट एक्सीड 2,50,000 पर मंथ। ये रेस्ट्रिक्शन पोर्टल में ही होगा, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि ये अनरेस्ट्रिक्टेड होगा, आपको वॉलंटरली कंप्लाई करना है। पोर्टल में ही रेस्ट्रिक्शन होगा, मेरा ऐसा मानना है। अगर ये पोर्टल में रेस्ट्रिक्शन है तो B2B सप्लाई अब 2.5 लाख से ज्यादा कभी एंट्री कर ही नहीं सकते। The registered person who has received an order under sub-rule 10 allowing withdrawal shall be able to furnish the details of output tax liability on supply of goods or services or both made to registered person exceeding the output tax liability as referred to sub-rule 1. ये हम लोग का पॉइंट था। फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट डे ऑफ सक्सीडिंग मंथ इन विच द सेट ऑर्डर हैज बीन इशूड, जब तक ऑर्डर नहीं आ जाता है तब तक आप 2.5 लाख रुपए से ऊपर का अमाउंट B2B सप्लाई में टैक्सेशन का अमाउंट आप फिल नहीं कर सकते। तो मान लीजिए नवंबर 25 टू जनवरी 26 में आपको यहां पर इस पीरियड में ऑटो रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ। मैंने ये लॉक इन डाला हुआ है, नवंबर दिसंबर जनवरी 3 महीने का लॉक इन है। अगर 1 अप्रैल 2026 से पहले है तो B2B टैक्स कैन नॉट एक्सीड द थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट। फरवरी 26 में यू अप्लाई फॉर विड्रॉल इन REG 32, मार्च 26 में एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ विड्रॉल ऑफ REG 33। इस पीरियड में भी आप B2B टैक्स कैन नॉट एक्सीड थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट। 1 अप्रैल 2026 से आप नॉर्मल रजिस्ट्रेशन में आ जाएंगे, B2B टैक्स कैन एक्सीड द थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट। ये लॉ है। अब यहां आइए, ए रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन टू हुम एन ऑर्डर अंडर सब रूल 10 हैज बीन इशूड शैल नॉट अमेंड द डिटेल्स फर्निश्ड इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी सो एज टू एक्सीड द लिमिट ऑफ द आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी। कहने का मतलब अप्रैल 2026 में आपको नॉर्मल रजिस्ट्रेशन हो गया। अब आप पिछले समय में आप B2B टैक्स थ्रेशोल्ड से ज्यादा करना चाह रहे हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट अलाउड फॉर द पीरियड प्रायर टू द फर्स्ट डे ऑफ सक्सीडिंग मंथ इन विच द सेट ऑर्डर हैज बीन इशूड। तो फॉलोइंग आर B2B टैक्सेस ऑफ डिफरेंट मंथ्स। नवंबर 25, इसको यहां से हटा दो, 1 लाख, 20 दिसंबर 2 लाख, जैन 26। अब फैब 26 में 3 लाख है, मार्च 26 में 3 लाख है। अब इसको वो अमेंड करने नहीं दे रहा है, तो कैन इट override section 37? This is the main point, since restricting amendment of GSTR 1. Assuming the taxpayer in the aforementioned case obtains registered effective from 1st November 2025. Rule 14A sub rule 5 prescribes a lock-in period of 3 months during which the taxpayer cannot withdraw from option of electronic registration. इसको भी चेक करना पड़ेगा whether ये lock-in valid है as per law or not. However, withdrawal is not required in this case since B2B output tax that किसी के बैकग्राउंड में क्या आवाज आ रही है? However, withdrawal is not required in this case since B2B output tax does not exceed the prescribed threshold limit until Jan 26. ऐसे भी withdrawal की जरूरत नहीं है। अब यहाँ आइए, in Feb 26, when B2B output tax exceeds the threshold limit on 15th February, the taxpayer shall immediately file REG 32 and try to obtain the order in REG 33 within the same month. As per Rule 14A11, the taxpayer cannot report B2B output tax exceeding 2.5 lakh in Feb 26. This creates a practical challenge. What course of action is available? अब withdrawal क्या mandatory है या नहीं है, ये भी आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा। Whether withdrawal is mandatory और या optional है। मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूं, Feb 26 में 3 लाख है, उसके बाद 2 ऑप्शन है। Report the first consecutive invoices aggregating 2.5 lakh as B2B and classify the remaining invoices as B2C. Under this approach, no ITC shall be passed and no interest liability will arise. Report the first consecutive invoices aggregating 2.5 lakh as B2B and carry forward the remaining invoices for reporting in March 26, which will also attract interest liability under section 50. तो आप क्या कीजिए, या तो B2C सप्लाई कर दीजिए या फिर वेट कीजिए जब तक आपका विड्रॉल अप्रूव नहीं हो जाता है, तब आप B2B में डाल दीजिएगा। सामने वाले पार्टी को ITC लेट मिलेगा। देयर कैन नेवर बी अ केस ऑफ फेलियर टू विड्रॉ सिंस B2B सप्लाई में इधर बी रिपोर्टेड एज B2B और इन सब्सिक्वेंट मंथ और अल्टरनेटिवली क्लासिफाइड एज B2C, हेंस देयर अराइजेस नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ पेनल्टी इन सच सर्कमस्टांसेस। ये मेरा ओपिनियन था। अब अन्वेश से बताएगा क्या सिचुएशन है। यस अन्वेश।
Okay, sir, it is not my opinion, but just for the sake of having a healthy discussion, should we just check whether the restriction is for reporting more than 2.5 lakh or is it the restriction for making supplies above 2.5 lakh?
अच्छा, correct. ठीक है. Any person who has made application who determines that his total output tax liability on supply of goods or services or both made to registered person on account of this does not exceed 2.5 lakh per month shall have an option to get registration electronically. यहाँ furnish लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ भी furnish लिखा हुआ है और सिर्फ एक जगह लिखा हुआ है ये. बट टेल मी वेदर B2B सप्लाई है मेरी, लेकिन मैं उसको B2C कर देता हूं तो कोई दिक्कत है?
My buyer will not be okay, no sir.
Let's suppose buyer is okay और मैं कहता हूं कि B2B सप्लाई कर रहा हूं 100 + 18 = 118, आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा, कोई बात नहीं, आप मुझे 100 ही रुपया दीजिए, मैं B2C में डालूंगा.
It would become now as long as I know that person, क्योंकि अगर मैं ई-वे बिल जनरेट करूं और इन द ई-वे बिल में उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर डालूं, लेकिन जब डिक्लेरेशन हो जाएगा तब मैं उसे B2C करूं, then there is going to be a mismatch. Now, this is not going to be a mismatch in which evasion of tax is there. However, it is going to be, so this is an offense for which there is no punishment in law. There is an offense. So in jurisprudence, when we learn that there are injuries because of which there can be damages, and then there are damages when there are no injuries. So basically, not all offenses are punishable. This is one of those offenses that are not punishable. That is, अगर हम B2B को B2C declare करें, तो the loss is only for the recipient. As long as the recipient is willing to let go of that loss, the government will not interfere with that. So, officer, but certainly can say this is an offense, and just like that aspect of general penalty 125, the officer has the power, because 125 is nothing to do with evasion of tax. It is not following the provision of law. So general penalty आ जाएगा सर, इसमें आ सकता है. Okay. That is one thing. Second thing, sir, if you remember, we were having a discussion on the term who determines. वो पहले जो है, that is who determines. Now normally when we talk about determination, now there are only two provisions in the law which talks about determination. One is section 59. That talks about determination by the SSC. Second determination is under 73, 74 or 74A, in which the determination is to be done by the proper officer. However, in both the case of determination, it is post-mortem determination, as in the transaction would have already happened, and then they are determining as to what should be the tax liability. This is the only case where the law is forcing people to determine even before making the transaction, whereas the right usage of the word should have been estimate. So the question is, when I am making an estimate, see, the purposefully they have not used the word estimate, because if they would have used the word estimate, then the taxpayer could have always come and said, this is a rough estimate, this is not exact. So I am allowed to breach the 2,50,000 limit.
Section 59 says every registered person shall self-assess the taxes payable.
Now, if you go to the definition of assessment.
Take minute. Every registered person shall self-assess the taxes payable under this act. Payable. Definition, assessment. Assessment means determination of tax liability under this act and includes self-assessment. Okay. Now, when to assess? Only when the transaction concludes.
Yes.
And here they are also writing who determines.
Yes. So basically they are asking who assesses.
Self-assessment. Here he is also assessing.
Correct.
Before he applies for registration, the GST law is not applicable to him. Correct?
If
GST law is not applicable to him and he is voluntarily applying for registration, but can't the law expect that if a retailer who is only doing B2C supply, he may not be able to accurately calculate or determine 2,50,000. But in 99% of the cases, he is able to foresee whether my transaction will be B2B or B2C. Because it is not only about 2,50,000 per month. It is also about made to registered person, that is B2B transactions.
Sir, agreed, sir. However, our moot question is not about can he do it or not. The moot question is, can he determine or estimate?
Okay.
Our submission is he can never determine. He can only estimate. Of course, the estimate can be 100% correct. But it is still an estimate. It is not determination.
And what happens if his estimation or his determination is wrong subsequently in on the second day itself of taking the registration.
So what I'm of the view is that if they had used the word estimate, then even if he makes some mistake, he cannot be penalized because it was the rough estimate based on the data that he had on the day of application. That is where they have purposefully used the word determination, saying that you are not estimating, you are determining. So once you are determining, you cannot make mistake. So if you are going to make mistake, we are going to punish you.
Acha, tell me one thing.
Yes.
14A is some kind of door to GST registration, correct?
Yes.
On the door itself, I put a condition that look, you can come inside if you follow this law, otherwise we will throw you out. Correct?
Yes.
It's just like a entry into some discotheque where some restriction is being put कि प्रॉपर ड्रेसिंग होनी चाहिए, जूते पहने होने चाहिए. वैसे ये भी है कि आपको हम एंट्री तो देंगे लेकिन कंडीशन यही है, और अंदर जाने के बाद भी कंडीशन वही है, और हमारी पूरे सर कैमरा लगी हुई है, वो आपको देखता रहेगा कि आप 2.5 लाख रुपया पर मंथ से B2B सप्लाई 2.5 लाख रुपया पर मंथ से ज्यादा ना हो जाए, तभी आप अंदर रह सकते हैं, नहीं तो हम आपको बाहर कर देंगे. और बाई चांस उसने ब्रीच भी कर दिया तो भी उसको रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, भाई साहब आपने ब्रीच कर दिया है तो कोई बात नहीं, आप इसको नेक्स्ट मंथ शो कर दीजिए, उसके अगले मंथ शो कर दीजिएगा. अगर मान लीजिए अब अन्वेश, व्हाट आई वाज थिंकिंग, suppose on the gate itself I put certain conditions.
So the aspect would be at the gate you can put those conditions that can be fulfilled at the gate level. For example, in your example only, we may very well ask कि जब भी वो बंदा आए, he has to wear proper clothes, proper shoe, all this. This is something that he can do. Now what are the things he cannot do? अगर मान के चलिएगा कि वो condition है कि he will not have more than 3 drinks. And on the basis of that, he is given an admission. Now, having more than 3 drinks or not is just an estimation, not determination. So, the fact that they are using the word determination is because they want to penalize if you are having more than 3 drinks. Because if you are going to only estimate it, you can always come back with the plea saying that सर मैंने जब आया मेरा कैपेसिटी सिर्फ उतना था तो मैंने उतना तक ही एस्टिमेट किया था, लेकिन ये पहली बार हुआ है कि आई हैव गॉन टू द 4th ड्रिंक. तो एस्टिमेशन फॉर अ रॉन्ग एस्टिमेशन देयर इज नो पेनल्टी, but for wrong determination there is penalty. So the law is requiring you to do something absolutely impossible. So I am of the considered view that to this extent the law has to be read down.
और इसमें कहीं भी नहीं लिखा हुआ सेक्शन 29 में कि हम आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल कर देंगे कि अगर 14A का कंप्लायंस ना हो.
Correct.
ये नहीं लिखा हुआ है. सेक्शन 29 कैंसिलेशन और सस्पेंशन ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन, इसमें द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर में कैंसिल.
Sir, here the only thing would be I would want to differ on the ground of whether the website में restriction आ जाएगा. वेबसाइट में शायद वो रेड कलर वाला वार्निंग शायद आ सकता है, लेकिन वेबसाइट विल नॉट कैनॉट अलाउ कि अगर 3 लाख हो तो वेबसाइट कैनॉट बिकम ग्रे फॉर 2 रीजंस. वन रीजन इज अगर वेबसाइट वो करेगा तो सेक्शन 59 का वायलेशन हो जाएगा क्योंकि सेल्फ असेसमेंट है. So agar if I say that my liability is 3 lakh rupees and if the website says my liability cannot be 3 lakh rupees, then वो 59 का violation हो जाएगा. That is the first thing. The second risk that I run is अगर website मान के चलिएगा कि मेरा liability 20 लाख है and website only allows me to upload to 2,50,000. Then comes the question, अगर मैं balance 17,50,000 पे ना करूं तो can the department allege that I have not paid when the website itself did not allow me to pay? तो वेबसाइट पैसा पहले लेगा हमेशा. इन ऑल केसेस दे विल ऑलवेज टेक मनी. मे बी सम अदर एक्शन दे मे इनिशिएट सब्सिक्वेंटली. मे बी ऑफिसर खुद ही शोकॉज नोटिस इशू करेगा saying that whereas it appears that for so and so months you have declared the turnover of more than 2,50,000 rupees, which is in violation of sub-rule 1 of rule 14A. So tell us why should not we cancel or your automatic registration and register you under the normal scheme. So this could be a very logical way of ending this.
और उसको पता कैसे लगेगा?
The B2B जो आएगा ना सर,
B2B मान लीजिए पोर्टल ने रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर दिया, मैं B2B में नहीं डाल के B2C में डाल दिया. ऑफिसर प्रॉपर ऑफिसर नो कि B2B सप्लाई हैज गॉन टू B2C सप्लाई.
That exactly is this one, sir. अगर SSC himself does B2B to B2C, a department will not know. But If SSA himself puts everything under B2B, which is B2B, then
portal allows it.
Portal allows it. Portal should allow it.
Okay.
Then immediately an automatic show cause notice has to be issued for removal of automatic route and the introduction of the regular route, or else the scheme will fail, sir.
And if portal restricts, then
59 violation हो जाएगा सर. करना ही, even when we it always, all it does is, अगर मेरा 2B में भी कुछ data नहीं हो, and even if I want to go ahead and claim it, then still the portal allows. Portal does not stop me from filing it. लेकिन नोटिस आ जाएगा. That is exactly how it is going to happen, sir, in this also.
Okay. किसी को 14A का ये रजिस्ट्रेशन मिला है ना? आप लोगों ने किसी ने अप्लाई किया है क्या? Okay. ठीक है.
And also one of another aspect that we have to understand is I would have assumed my rate to be 5%. तो अगर मेरा टर्नओवर 50 लाख तक का है तो नॉर्मल I would have told that it is okay, it is 5%, 2,50,000. लेकिन बाद में owing to could be it being a mixed supply or redetermination, judgment, some changes, whatever, and retrospectively if it becomes 18%. So what am I supposed to do? Because the law says I cannot amend anything.
A valid point. देखो, मैं इसको गवर्नमेंट की नजर से देखूं तो the purpose is to come out with rule 9A and 14A is for ease of doing business, and overall this is a beneficial rule. And if it is a beneficial rule where only B2C supply is being reported and B2B tax monthly 2,50,000, now this is the question also, how this 2,50,000 per month will be computed by the portal. If I file late invoices, but of the April invoices if I file in June, whether that invoice will be counted of April or when it is being reported in June. But overall it is a beneficial provision. If it is a beneficial provision, whether even if something is not being complied with, that substantive law is not being complied with, will it make any difference? That yes, penalty. Officer will think, yes, let us levy the penalty. Yes, Anwesh?
More than penalty, sir. I am of the opinion that officer will immediately suspend the registration and will demand all the documents for regular registration. But we have to see under suspension whether this is one of the ground to suspend.
No, there is no ground for suspension.
So, amendment आ जाएगा, sir. This is where, as of today, this is one of the offense for which there is no punishment.
No, this is, we are interpreting in a way that portal is not restricting. But if portal is restricting, then you are saying that is a violation of section 59.
Yes.
Then I am saying that it won't be a violation of section 59 because you can always report this B2B supplies as B2C supply.
But the law cannot ask me to declare something wrong, sir. That is the point. Entire point is.
But on the gate itself, you have been told that these are the conditions.
Agreed.
And beneficial provision.
Agreed,
rules.
sir. I am at fault. I am culprit. I am guilty. But still, law cannot stop me from doing the right thing.
Okay. बाकियों का क्या ओपिनियन है? चलिए.